So this is question 24, and in this question we have a guy called Alan who owns a jug, and it costs him £80 to buy it initially. After a year he decides to sell it and gets £100, and then he immediately regrets this and so buys it back, but for £110, so a bit more than what he sold it for. And another year later he needs to sell it again, and he sells it for £120, and we want to know how much profit the owner, Alan, makes overall. So for this question we just need to say Alan started on £0 and he buys the jug, so he gets minus £80 now. Then he sells it, so he gets £100 back, so we add £100. Then he buys it back and so loses £110, and then he sells it again, so gets £120. And all we need to do is work out what this sum is, so do minus 80 plus 100 minus 110 plus 120, and that will tell us how much profit he has. So when we do this, we get 100 plus 120, so 220, minus 80 and minus 110, so minus 190, and this gives us 30, which tells us that our answer is C. So this is a question about aeroplanes, and we have an aeroplane crew which start in Rome, and they're going to do 2 round trips to London. Round trip means they're going to London and then back to Rome. That's a round trip. And when they arrive at an airport, they take the next scheduled flight back, and we're told that all times are local, so the times here are in Rome time and these are in London time. And we want to know how long it is from the first flight's takeoff to the landing of their last flight of the day. So we're just going to start in Rome, because that's what they do, and we're going to pick the first flight, so the 9:05 flight in Rome, and that's going to arrive in London at 9:55. And then we can look across here and we want to get the first flight we can back to Rome, and we see that that's 10:30. So we're leaving London at 10:30, and this one's going to arrive at Rome at 1:45. Okay, well now we're at Rome and it's 1:45, so the next flight we can get is the 3:05 here, so that's the one we're going to get, and that gets in at 3:55 in London. So now it's 3:55 in London. The next one we can get is the 4:30 from London to Rome, so that's the one we get. And when we get that, it gets in at 7:45 back to Rome. And we see these are our 2 round trips, so we've done our trips of the day. So we started at 9:05 in Rome and finished at 7:45 p.m. in Rome. And so we can see the total time between starting and finishing is just the time it takes from 9:05 to 7:45, which is 10 hours and 40 minutes, so our answer is D.